9. Yizzo!
Monday.
Ow.
My haters.
Oh. Hey, Sheila.
It's crack-lacking in the LBC. I haven't said that in a long time. That used to be my go-to greeting.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what LBC stands for?
I don't.
I might be wrong, but I think it's Long Beach, California. Doesn't sound very hard and thuggish, does it? So the LBC.
Let me see. LBC. LBC stands. I think it is. I don't think...
Long Beach, California. That's not rough at all. It got nothing compared to Brooklyn, Bronx.
Well, LBC crew. No, it doesn't sound it. It was like on The Office when they took out the letter R from murder, and Dwight was like, R is one of the most missing.
Wow, starting off real.
I heard it. I said, what?
Real tricky
Well,
over here.
never mind. But anyway, he said...
The R is a menacing word?
Yes, he said R is one of the most menacing sounds. And he was like, that's why they call it murder and not mud duck. And it was like so funny to me. But Long Beach, I've been to Long Beach. I spent some time in Long Beach.
Is it rough? Can you be like, what's up in the LBC?
Where I was, no, because we were like right off the beach. It didn't feel like that. But when we like ventured inwards, I was like, oh, okay, I could see. I don't know if it's rough or maybe they just repping it. Why it gotta be rough? Why does everything have to be rough?
Because that's just like, that was like a West Coast greeting. It's like...
We're East Coast girls. We don't know shit about the West Coast.
Shout out to everybody in the LBC. I love the way they talk. It's one of my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Like Ryan Coogler, like the way they pronounce their R's. The way we hitting their R's. I'll be like, fuck it up.
It's the Oakland. Me. I'm like, ooh. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's sounding like you are a bit under the weather.
Yeah, I'm not well. My child came in sick on Sunday. Stayed home on a Monday. Got her back to school on Tuesday, and now I'm sick on a Wednesday. So I need to get some ashwanga or some vitamin C vitamins, or I need like some heavy duty herbs to take on a daily basis because apparently I'm not well. So.
You don't take vitamins on a daily basis?
No.
For real?
No.
You're not taking your athletic greens?
I get them to Amanda, child. Except unless you're the sponsor listening, because I take them every day, and they keep me feeling great.
I can't believe that you.
I gave them to Amanda because she needed them. She needed nutrients because she couldn't eat, so I gave them to her. But I need them.
Really kind.
I'm like, give me them things back.
She ain't
girl.
taking them. I'm telling you right now. She
Put
not.
That shit back.
You better go there and get your stuff back.
You go back to that purple stuff and give me that green drink.
You could just need some tussin. You know.
Or might could
that's a remedy.
A new life. Speaking of which, had some epiphanies this week. I have been bamboozled.
God.
I have been hoodwinked by entrepreneurial grind culture, by all them niggas and all of their 60-minute clips about how you got to wake up and do this and 5 o'clock and do the hardest thing first and all this stuff. I first started in 2016, I think when that shit really started blowing up. And I've been constantly trying to create a schedule that mirrors that kind of dedication and organization, if you will. And I was talking about this last week about how a lot of my practices have been around making a to-do list. And, you know, your efforts are to complete that to-do list. And that has developed into, all right, I make a to-do list and I put times next to it. So I'm only, you know, dedicating 2 hours, da-da-da-da-da. That was helpful. But the beauty of being an entrepreneur is that you can make your own schedule and you can like figure out what your flow is. And that finally just clicked to me. And last week, I planned out my week days before, and I was like, all right, I'm going to execute. And I got most of the stuff done, but I was unhappy. I was very tired. I was really exhausted. And although I got shit done, my spirit felt defeated in a way. Like there was nothing generative about it. And there was also just poor practice because I would have all these meetings and I would meet with like a tax guy and he would give me all of these tasks to do. And I'd be like, bet. But I had already planned out my next week. So then that just adds on to the shit that you're going to do next week. And I didn't create enough time for reflection and for real-time management of how I want my days to go, mostly dictated by how I'm feeling energetically. And so I had an epiphany moment, like nothing's wrong with having a heavy work week and like getting the shit done, especially if you're meeting goals, especially if you're on other people's time. But figuring out mapping out your next week to have rejuvenating activities or to be a lighter schedule versus back week after week after week being this like grind. And that felt really enlightening to me. It's something I want to implement. And also realizing that it's something that can be fucked with and that I have the power to create a life and a workflow that makes sense to me. And I also learned this week, Antoinette, speaking of the matrix being the work culture and this crazy capitalistic, materialistic, I don't know what we're doing, but speaking of the matrix in which I'm trying to navigate, Antoinette has revealed to me that she does not remember the matrix. And I don't know what that means for our relationship. I don't know.
I know. Why would you say this? This is as bad as you never seeing Waiting to Exhale. I will say it's bad. I actually think Waiting to Exhale was worse as a Black woman, but this is not good. This is not good. I saw the Matrix.
But you don't remember what the Matrix.
I only saw it once, and it was years and years and years ago. And I will be honest, I only saw the first one. I didn't see.
And that's all you really need to see.
Okay.
That's all you really need to see.
I still haven't seen Black Panther. Shame.
Yeah, I don't understand how you like out here, understanding things. Without the context of the Matrix. Like you can literally you can't say the Matrix anymore because you have no idea what that means.
Yes, I do. I know what the movie is about. I could not tell you what happened, about. Like everything that happened in it. I remember Keanu. I remember them, being what is it, like a
tell me about it. What happened in
Leave Me to they were like they were like attached, like hooked up to those like things, and there was like a whole other world that not a world, but another like iteration of themselves kind of thing. And it was just
the real them though. Do you know where the real them was? If they were hooked up to an illusion, it was like red pill, world, blue pill. All right, girl, you got to see the Matrix. Everybody,
I've seen.
You don't know what it was about.
I don't remember it. I don't remember it.
Self-discovery and recovery of your true self. And if we want to eat steak or if we want to see what's really going on. I want to eat steak. So that's where I am. I want to eat the steak.
It's embarrassing. I don't know why you had to do that.
Shame.
I also would like to point out that every time Shanti has updates and we've been together, like we've seen each other, she never adds that to her update. We live in two separate states, and so it should be a big deal that we are together.
First of all, you put those updates before me, so why would I repeat the same thing that you did? I put those after you.
I saw her, and it excited me, and I was happy.
I will learn how to love you the way you want to be loved. Heard, queen.
I will be honest. I'm currently on drugs right now, so I text you today and was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be 15 minutes late." I have been dealing with, ever since I got into that car accident, I hit that deer. I've had this weird thing with my neck spasms, and to the point where like sometimes it's so debilitating. Like one time I had to go to the hospital. So I've been dealing with that. I got a massage this week. I've been going to hot yoga and stretching it out. I've been sleeping on a heating pad. I've been doing all the things. This knot would not get out, and I hate taking these prescription drugs that my doctor prescribed me. Well, today I was sitting here and I could feel it. It was working its way up from what is that? Like from under my shoulder blade all week, up, 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 up to my neck. And once it hits up here and it's no longer in the shoulder blade, I know that it's about to go away. But while it was up, what is this? My trap? Yeah, my traps, because when you do that in a gym, that's your trap. So once it's up here, it's really difficult for me with this right hand to do work, to type, to move my mouse, to do all these things during the day. So I was like, I can't take this anymore. I took the muscle relaxants plus some pain pill as well.
Plus some edibles.
No edibles.
Swigs of vodka, and now
no
I'm
edibles,
here.
No alcohol. And I could feel it starting to set in during the day. And most people know I'm a project manager, producer, so I need to be on top of my shit. Well, I was not. I even blocked time off on my calendar for 30 minutes to walk around the block.
Look at you.
Sunlight. I was like, Dr. Huberman, help me. The sun got to be in my eyes. I'm
right now.
Hi. Baby, I walked around that block. I drank one of those what is the tea? Herbamate teas. I love them. If y'all are listening, please give us a sponsorship. I really enjoy your products. Amen. And came back. I had a call from 4:30 to 5:30, and I was struggling on the call. So I took my laptop. I went in my room where there's more sunlight, and I just sat there. And I woke up at 7:20, and I have no idea if I was even on that call, if anyone was talking to me. I was like, oh shit. I woke up and it still said I was on the call and everybody else was hung up. And so I was just like, luckily I wasn't on camera, thank God. And I've gotten better.
You was on there nodding, looking like you was on the Frankfurt line, nigga.
They never fall though.
They never fall.
I put a sticky note. I put sticky notes on top of my camera because I don't want, you know how we've been doing all this research on how companies are spying on their employees, et cetera, et cetera. So they couldn't have seen me sleep. But baby, I wrote my boss so fast. I said, Monica, hi. I am so sorry. Full disclosure, I've been dealing with she knows that I have this though, because it was in the middle
about you, girl.
She really does, because it was in the middle of the workday once where I just started crying on a call because whatever happens in my back, it locked up to the point where I had to go to the hospital. Like I couldn't move, I couldn't function. So anyway, long story short. That happened today, so I'm a little wired. And when I woke up, I was like, where am I at? What time is I thought I was like 1 o'clock in the morning. That's why I just ate. I just shoved salad down my throat because I'm like, I need something to kind of ground me a little bit. So if I say some wrong shit today, y'all, it's because I am actually on drugs. But anyway, I'm recovering from the Eagles' loss.
I went to Antoinette's house.
She went to my mom's house. She went to my white mom's house, and we had food and family.
Antoinette is her white mom. I really did understand you a lot more. And I was like, wow.
We're very similar. It's disgusting. So I'm going to say this about the game. I've never been more proud of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts could have been the MVP of the game, given the performance that he gave. I also would like to say that there was a missed call when he fumbled that football. When he fumbled the ball, Shanti, there was a face mask. You can't grab people in their helmets.
Somebody by the face.
Had him by the face, and it was
and
missed,
then
that's why he fumbled.
Then they had that whack-ass call at the end. Can't tell you what it was.
Listen to Shanti. She knows sports, y'all. Yes, and then the end of the game was determined by a ticky-tack penalty call, which that kind of holding happens every game. And the Eagles, I was very proud of them. They made no excuses. They beat themselves a bit. Special teams did not play well. I wasn't a super fan of the play calling. There was a huge missed opportunity where Jalen Hurts threw a beautiful ball. And I forget who it was, but he did not catch it. It definitely wasn't A.J. Brown. But anyway, we had a great season. I'm really proud of the team. I think Jalen Hurts is just such a stand-up human. I remember when he was still a backup quarterback, and I kept telling my dad, I really like this kid. He was raised right. He's a coach's kid. He was already doing a ton of work in the community in Philly, and he's only 24 years old.
Where's he from?
He's from, I think he's from Alabama. I actually might have just made that
tongue.
up.
You got a thick, long tongue. That tongue is pretty.
You sound like all the right. You know what? And I was irritated on Twitter because I'm on Twitter talking about the game, losing my mind. And all these women are just like, who is that? He fine. Like, we been known. Jalen been cute. And also, Jalen is a baby. Leave that little boy alone. But
I just commented on his anatomy. I didn't see anything else.
It was soul crushing. I was really upset. I wept. I drove home listening to Feel It in the Air. And I was really sad. I had a hard time sleeping. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous how sports affects me, especially
heart was
football.
Palpitating.
I couldn't take it. I was really stressed out because, and the worst part was when Mahomes looked like he was injured going into the half.
They said he did drugs, or is that no?
No, a lot of people are saying that they think that he used some illegal drug to help him.
Superman shit.
Yeah,
wow,
whatever. He's an
talented,
amazing quarterback.
He's
an amazing quarterback.
Killing it.
But Jalen, I think, outperformed him when it comes to the QB thing. But them winning in the year of their the year that everybody was saying they were rebuilding. I don't know. It's just, we'll see. A lot of our coaches already left. They're already getting promotions to head coaching jobs and shit like that. So we'll see how it pans out next year. Jalen's going to get paid. We'll see how much money is left over for the rest of the team. He deserves to get paid. This is not a sports podcast, so I'll keep it pushing. But I'm proud of my team. Fly, Eagles, fly. Amen. I'm entering my doing phase. So this weekend after was it a weekend? Am I making that up? When was the Super Bowl? Sunday? What's today?
Last week.
It was last weekend, right?
It was Sunday. No, it was a couple of days ago, like 2 days ago. Or 3 days ago.
Wow. When was I? Anyway, I was hanging out with my friend Black, and Black has been instrumental in helping me with this, like, returning back to myself, whether it's through photography, whether it's through conversation that feels like therapy. And he does this for everybody in his life that he fucks with in that way. And Black is also a musician. And if you guys remember, he was on the podcast. He's a master drummer, yada, yada, yada. And so he knows that I have a background in music and in performance. And he has been having really hard conversations with himself. And I think he projected onto me a little bit, but that's cool. He's been having hard conversations with himself around doing. Like, we know all the things. You know, you can sit there and you can figure out why you're not singing and how you know you need to and what that's rooted in and what's stopping you. And you can sit there and do all of the work, but you're not doing the work. You're just talking about the work. And so he basically said that to me. He was like, you know, I'm not going to keep having these conversations with you. I've said everything that I need to say. You know what you need to do, and I'm done. You're either going to do it or you're not. And told me he wasn't going to speak to me again if I didn't do it within the next 48 hours. And I was like, what? I know it was manipulative, but it was what I needed. And he was just like, you respond to
manipulation and coercion.
Manipulation, coercion, and deadlines.
Punitive measures.
Yes, that's how we get you working. So slowly but surely, I sang for him, or for me. I sang though, like in front of him, like for real. He's heard me play around, but he's never heard me sing. And like warmed up, like for real, with my norming. See, that's the drugs.
She
With my
hard.
annoying warm ups, and was super supportive. But ended up like I went in like the hallway of his studio to practice and to do some stuff, and he ended up recording it, and then was just saying to me, "If you don't post this, then I'm not going to talk to you."
Oh boy.
Yes, and so posted it and wanted to throw up. Posted it in like the middle of the night, and then just woke up to such lovely messages.
You gonna post it on Around the Way Curls? I noticed that you didn't post it on Around the Way Curls.
I feel like a lot of the Around the Way Girls people already follow me. The ones that would or do, or what? The ones that would follow me already do. So
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
post it on Around the Way Curls with your consent.
okay.
Or I
But
won't talk to you anymore.
that's how you get me moving. But anyway, it felt really good, and it made me think about it. I just felt opened up in a different way.
Yes.
I felt really compartmentalized in terms of like, these people in my life know that I used to do this thing and that I have this ability, but these other people don't, and they don't need to. And these people know me as a podcaster, but my family doesn't know about podcasting at all. And so I just feel like I have these different worlds, and I show up kind of fractured in a way in different spaces.
That's how I function, girl.
I know it is. I know it is, child.
What is the alternative?
So, well, the alternative is to be yourself for real. And so that's what I'm doing. And he has since, basically said, okay, that was cute. That was like a little snippet. So now you're going to do a full song within the next 2 weeks. Oh yeah, he's not playing. He's like, no, this is going to be a repeated thing.
Now, okay. Now he's not your baby.
I'm like, you know what?
You know what? From your own inspiration, creativity, and will. But okay.
You know what's funny is that I'm like, okay, so when you having this art show, and he's like, it's not about me. That's my purpose is to help other people. I'm like, yo, that's so fucking so. It's you are projecting, and it's helping me, but I see you as well. So whatever. And the difference between the two of us is, if I said to him, I'll never talk to you again if you don't do it, he'll say, I really appreciated your time. He'd be like, go ahead, girl. So that feels and felt really good. It felt really good to sing, like full voice. I don't even think I've done that in the house because I got this crazy lady upstairs. But she's really going to hate me soon because I'm going to do a lot of that. And for Valentine's Day, thank you. For Valentine's Day, I'm sad to report that I made a request on the episode. I said, if you are similar to a certain cultural critic.
Girl, you still bringing, wow.
I'm not saying anybody's name now.
You're
similar.
Okay.
No, I'm not. This is going to lead into my point. No one actually came through and said, no one came through and told me that they loved me in my DM.
No.
And that was
what you asked them to be. They ain't say they love you. That's easy. Everybody's going to say they love you.
But their way of being just needed to be similar to a certain person. But one person did hit me and was like, I'm not that person, but I am like Dwayne Wayne. And I said, oh, you really know me. You really, boy.
Well, what happened?
We go together.
What happened to him? Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade?
Dwayne Wade, the guy who said.
Oh no, I wasn't serious. I was like, ha ha, you must really know me.
Like, he said, I ain't fucking, I'm serious.
Anyway, that's all joking. But no, for Valentine's, so I ended up spending Valentine's Day alone, which was fine. I worked, and then I felt a little bit tender. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go to hot yoga. I went to hot yoga. And right before I parked in front of the studio, and as soon as I parked, I got a phone call, and it was really sad news from home around just some health stuff that's gonna go on with a loved one. And I got off the phone and was like, okay, are you going to go in there? Like, what are you going to do? And I said, you're going to dedicate yourself to this practice and see what comes up. And so I did the hot yoga. And by the end of the class, I was on the mat. It was the very end of the class where we're in Shavasana. And I had the towel over I just put my towel over my face and wept. Like wept. And a lot of times, like it's opening. So a lot of times in yoga, especially, these things can come up and pour out of you. Mm-hmm. And the most loving thing about the class was that everybody just let me. No one like, they knew, they could hear that, but they just let it be. And I could almost feel them sending me energy.
Oh.
And after the class, it was really beautiful. And especially on Valentine's Day, after the class, my eyes are all red and I'm looking down at the ground because I'm like embarrassed and I'm getting my stuff. And everybody was like, I hope you have a good night. And I'm sure they thought I had a breakup or something on Valentine's Day, and it wasn't that, but it was really sweet. And it reminded me of, humanity. So it was great. Wow, we're 26 minutes in.
You had talking. A very long updates, but those were important. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
good. Very good.
Thank you. Would you like to ask people to rate, share, and subscribe?
Please rate, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And also become a patron if you'd like to see us in our glory. And in our,
I can't hear you.
In our glory in raw form, you can subscribe to us on Patreon, become a patron, and we're going to move into our break. Thank you so much. After these messages, we will be right back.
Boop. Do you have me turned up in your headphones?
No, I just turned you down in my headphones because you were loud.
Okay, so you can hear me.
I just spoke low.
Okay.
Could you hear me before?
I could hear you before. When you start to do this, I can't hear you at all because you remember what I'm hearing is what's coming through the computer, not what's coming in the mic. So when you do that, your computer's so far away from you that I can just see your nose moving.
Oh,
yeah, you're not picking up what I'm saying. The mic is recording into this.
And he says,
that's why I'm like, what? So when you get that low, I'm like, what the fuck is he saying? Because I'm hearing Riverside audio. You're hearing my Riverside audio.
That's good. You ready?
I'm ready.
And it's February 15th. We are smack dab still in the middle, celebrating and exalting Black history. Today, I want to exalt one of my favorite poets. Now, let me tell you something. I don't like spoken word. I often run away from it, often avoid it at all costs. But we all had a moment, I guess, in the early 2000s, 2010. It's kind of dipped off a little bit. We had our Rupi Kaur moment. Remember Rupi Kaur? I don't like Rupi Kaur.
Oh, you don't like her as a person?
No,
or you don't like her work?
Her work doesn't move me. I appreciate what she does, but I'm always just like, girl, okay. But
it's okay. She's no Naira Waheed.
It's good. No, she's not. But the king, the god, is Worcestershire. And you guys know Worcestershire because she made Lemonade what it was. Her writing, her interludes, the way that she weaved the story of Beyonce's process is all because of Worcestershire's writing. And she is Somalian, born in Kenya, but later moved to the UK. She's a writer, poet, editor, and teacher. And she is one of my favorite poets. Her writing just cuts through you. It makes you weep. It makes you think. It makes you feel. And she's really dope and really beautiful to look at too. You can follow her on Instagram at Warson underline Shire as well.
Underline underscore.
Underscore. In 2011, she released Teaching My Mother How to Give Birth. I highly recommend that book. They're kind of obscure, hard to get, but I feel like on Amazon you can easily get it. And last year she released her second book, Bless the Daughter Raised by a Voice in Her Head. And so Teaching My Mother How to Give Birth is centered around like immigrant experience, and how that ripples through just family life, where Bless the Daughter Raised by a Voice in Her Head is very much around like the mother-daughter relationship and around being a child with a lot of responsibilities. And so she broke the internet, and I feel like this is the gateway. I feel like this is her kind of Rupi Kaur. I feel Rupi Kaur is dope because she taps into women who had their heart broken or like their first love and them rebuilding themselves from like a fuckboy. That's what it is. It's like around fuckboy recovery. Rupi Kaur is like just helps folks along that way. And I feel like this poem by Warson Shar just dominated Tumblr when it first came out. And it's called For Women Who Are Difficult to Love. And so I wish I could do it in a British accent like she does. You'd be better off listening to it on YouTube because I'm not going to do it justice. But you are a horse running alone, and he tries to tame you. Compared you to an impossible highway, to a burning house. Says you are blinding him, that he could never leave you, forget you, want anything but you. You dizzy him. You are unbearable. Every woman before or after you is doused in your name. You fill his mouth. His teeth ache with memory of taste, his body just a long shadow seeking yours. But you are always too intense, frightening in the way you want him, unashamed and sacrificial. He tells you that no man can live up to the one who lives in your head. And you tried to change, didn't you? Closed your mouth more, tried to be softer, prettier, less volatile, less awake. But even when sleeping, you could feel him traveling away from you in his dreams. So what do you want to do, love? Split his head open? You can't make homes out of human beings. Someone should have already told you that. And if he wants to leave, then let him leave. You are terrifying and strange and beautiful, something not everyone knows how to love. She's the god. I love her very much. And she has lots of poems like that. So you guys should support her books, buy them, follow them, and tap your fingers like some beatniks. Slap them. I also want to highlight a Black business here in Philadelphia that just opened. This is also an Around the Way Curls listener and Sable Collective supporter. She is a biracial sistren. I can't remember. She told me, I'm going to remember this story so I can share it accurately, but her white Jewish mother married a Black man, and the way her name changed in marrying him was just like, I'm going to get the exact name change. Wait. Her mother married a Black man and also became Muslim. So her mom went from like a very white ass name to a very Black ass name. And she told me this story one day, and I was like, I have to share this on the podcast, but I have since forgot what the mother's name change was, but it's very epic. But anyway, this is to highlight her business. This is Mayana. She has a new bridal business in Philadelphia. It's called Kinfolk Bride. It's in the Bach building. It's a boutique bridal, I guess, business, because I don't know the other word to describe it. And it's appointment only. So you go in and have a very personalized experience with Mayana. She has been doing this for years, and this is her branching out on her own. And follow her at Kinfolk Bride, KINFOLK BRID, and check her out online and make an appointment at kinfolkbride.com. And support her, especially if you're about to get married or whatever.
Dope. That ties into our hot shit time, y'all. So I have something to shout out here in New York, and they also do this in LA. But I went to a polyamorous collective game night.
Girl, you're killing me. I love that for you.
It is called, and I don't want to mess this up, Bonanonas.
What did you say? One more time.
Bonanonas.
Oh.
And that is patois for a special thing, a special person, a special time.
I love
And
that.
it is a non-monogamous, friendly, black hottie. Wait, no, I said this wrong. It's the drugs. So people who are invited are considered non-monogamous, friendly, black hotties centering pleasure and play as we unlearn and love together.
What's your statement? Fuck it up. Clear. Who's
Right?
the clientele? I know. What are we doing? It's clear. Fuck it up.
So a friend of mine, well, I mean, it's weird to call. I know him. He feels so familiar to me. I met him actually in Ghana, Dar. Um, and it was very random how we met. We were just like frolicking, and there were so many different Americans there, and he happened to be from Brooklyn, and somehow we wound up at like his people's, I think it was their Airbnb or their hotel, something, and we like connected. And then I would see him at different events. We seem to be a bit like-minded. I am not polyamorous, but
You're
I
dipping and
understand.
dabbling.
No, no, but I recognize um how effective and beautiful it is, polyamory. When I was there, so I didn't have plans for the evening, and a friend of mine invited me who's exploring polyamory. And immediately when I walked in, my friend wasn't even there yet. My other friend was there, and just really warm welcoming. As soon as someone walks in, everything stops. You're introduced. And it was funny. I walked in and I sat down and I looked at my one friend and I said, "How do I know this guy?" And she said, "You went on a date with him before." And I was like,
Girl.
"Oh." And I was like, "Oh, hey." And I knew I knew him, but I was, you know me, child. It was
Did
years ago.
did he bring that up? Like, yeah, we went on a date, or he just didn't mention it either?
No, I think that no, he was just like, "How have you been? It's been a long time since we've
Oh,
crossed
okay.
paths." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good." But I couldn't place him. I knew, I was like, "Why does he look so familiar? I know him." We went on one date, like once. I don't even know if it was a date. It was more like you want to blink. Anyway, everything stops when you walk in. They greet you. They ask your name. And they're all, there's a way that they're in their bodies too. They are occupying their full ass bodies. They are kind of, the way they move through space is super intentional. I was just like observing it. The way
This was everybody there?
yeah. I mean, and he's going to come on the pod. He told me he would, and he gave me some dates. So I can't wait to have him on. But anyway, I won't make this a long thing, but it was really beautiful. So if this is something that you feel would be beneficial to you, then I suggest you look them up. I will link their information in the description, and he will come on the podcast and talk about it. This type of event was not closed for members only. This was where like you could bring other people.
Oh, but
not every
it's
event.
a members only club, though.
It is a members only
Okay.
club, but they do branch out and do other things where they
Yeah.
allow other folks in.
Okay.
And just like everyone in the room just felt familiar.
Mhm.
Everyone in the room felt like family.
Right.
And you could see, and we played a lot of games that were, silly games, but then we also played these games that were similar to like the Esther Perel, Where Shall We Begin kind of card games, where you're really answering questions that lead you to be vulnerable and open, and just such beautiful peeling back of the layers occurred, with
that.
complete strangers. And that word humanity, that word and love was really felt in the space. And they're just, it just feels like a free love kind of vibe. So shout out to them. It was dope. I had a really good time. I stayed out way past my bedtime. It was lots of fun. And then finally, I just want to let everyone know that I don't think that they're confused or that this was a secret, but we are not the biggest fans of Michael B. Jordan here on this podcast. He's fine. We don't hate him, but we're not all hype boots about Michael B. I'm especially not hype boots about Michael B these days because Michael B is coming out with Creed 3, which, you know, Creed, the whole premise is based off of a boxer from Philly. And when asked about the Super Bowl, he said he was rooting against us. So Philly, the city of Philadelphia, they are boycotting Creed. And I love that. And I think I will too. Not that I was ever going to see it. I do want to see it because Jonathan is in it. So it's tricky.
I want to go see that.
You not shit. But also, I'm not shit for watching football. We're all complicit in this. But I want to shout out Philly folks who are not going to go to the movies and spend their money on it. You can wait for it to come out on Netflix because I'm sure it will be there.
No.
But Michael B. Jordan, that was a terrible PR move. You are corny for that.
Don't know what Philly
and don't
is.
nobody like you.
Oh.
I was really mad when I saw that.
Wow.
It wasn't even a smart PR move. I was
went
pissed
all fucking
when I
comment
saw
on
that.
him.
Whatever.
Okay.
Oh, moving right along. Politics is usually wow. In a much more sobering note, I just want to, again, we didn't go into detail, and we're not going to again today because we need to, I need to have some lighter conversation, but I just want to encourage the listeners, light a candle, say a prayer for the folks over in Turkey and Syria who have been devastated by those earthquakes. The death toll is up past 37,000 people. Like, I can't wrap my head around how many people that actually is. That is just beyond tragic. And so many of those folks probably died because we couldn't get to them and rescue them. They rescued a man recently, bless you. They rescued a man, I think, yesterday who survived off of drinking his own urine.
There was also a baby.
They did rescue a baby.
Because it's freezing as well.
Yeah.
It's unimaginable.
No, it's unimaginable.
You cannot imagine it.
Mm-mm.
I cannot wrap my head around that.
I can't wrap my head around being in my home, sleeping, and then all of a sudden everything just crumbling.
And then your family's gone. Oh, Lord. And there's stories of, there's stories of Syrian refugees who lost family members in the war there that came and then lost everything.
Yeah.
Just everybody's gone now. What?
These are the things that, I'm reading This Here Flesh, which is helping me get more rooted into my faith. But these are the things. I thought that my faith was only kind of rocky because of its deep connection to white supremacy in terms of like Christianity, Catholicism. But it is also this. Things that I can't make sense of. I can't make sense of the why of this. Why? For what? I have such a hard time understanding that. So it's devastating. And then on top of that, I want to send special prayers, love and light to the Michigan State University community. I don't know if you know this, but I used to go there every year for my last job.
Oh, that was
because that was one of the schools that was a part of the programs. And what's crazy is February was it's this time of the year that they would have their event and that I would fly over and oversee it. And so I just I just feel so terrible for those poor kids who lost their lives, who are injured, who have, they said that some of their recovery is going to take years.
There was one girl who experienced a school shooting.
Multiple children. There are multiple students there who have already survived high school mass shootings and are now dealing with another mass shooting in their college. It's
Unimaginable.
it's unimaginable, but it is absolutely something that legislation needs to finally do like real work on this. I understand that Joseph Robinette got one of, the best bills passed in terms of the NRA, but and kind of like putting some I'm struggling for my words because it's fucking pills. What is it? Putting some, what is the word?
Measures, restraints, boundaries,
restrictions and things on access to certain kinds of guns, et cetera, et cetera. But really upsetting to see that the person responsible for this was Black. I gotta be honest, I was sick. Like, no, but and then that human killed themselves as well. So
yeah, it's a.
And then today, you have the guy, the guy who killed all of the folks in New York, in I think it was Buffalo, right? In the grocery store.
Yeah, what about him?
He was on trial and supposed to get his sentencing. And, one of the survivors stormed him, and tried to basically get his hands around him in court. All of this shit has a rippling effect, and it's really real.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't know how.
Well, it's interesting you said it has a rippling effect. I wonder what the center, I don't know if there is a center, but before somebody buys a machine gun, there's so many situations and consequences and so many things that build up to that decision. You know what I mean? Like,
and I don't know if this was a machine gun used
or
in
whatever
MSU,
gun, whatever leads somebody to do that, and the fact that it's happening so often, there has to be reasons behind it, and I definitely think that there should be restrictions on guns, but I don't know if that is like really an honest reflection of how to solve this illness, this mental, I don't know what it is, this violence. I don't know. I don't think it's rotting.
Complete solve. Yeah, I don't think it's a complete solve.
Well,
but
I think it would help.
I think it would help.
What's something to acknowledge it? Like, name it? What's the language around it that we're talking about? Like, I don't know.
I mean, the mental, I hesitate to say that because most often that is the argument of the Republican Party, whose pockets are full of NRA dollars, is that, guns don't kill people, people kill people. And that's how they get away with not having appropriate legislation around guns. So
I don't think
I understand completely what you're completely what you're talking about. I just think that certain parties use that and flip it, and they flip it on its head to further their own agendas and to wipe their hands clean. It's like if I'm sitting here and saying, I'm freezing.
A focus though. Then maybe they'll do that, dismiss it, but I don't know. We don't know. I have no idea, but I don't know that there is a more ominous, deeper thing that America, again, was built on. Like, I think that we think this violence and stuff is like new shit, but it's the bloodshed in this country is wild. It's really, and it's been, and I wonder the more that America acknowledges it or becomes accountable to it, I wonder what that cracks open or what that.
That's all they do is acknowledge it in my mind. That's all they do is acknowledge and offer fucking prayers. The Congress, human beings, the
fact that America was built on
no, not bloodshed? America was built on it, but when something like this happens, they acknowledge how sad it is, how it's not good for the culture. Before you started talking, I was saying like if you're telling me global warming is making, let's just use this as an example, global warming is making the winters more frigid. I am in my house freezing, but my window's open. Close the fucking window. It's not going to solve global warming. It's not going to solve the mental health crisis. But if you put some restrictions around the guns, an open window, maybe I'm not cold anymore. You know, people will say, oh, somebody will go and purchase a knife. You know, if they really want to hurt people, then they can stab somebody. The amount of people that you can't mass stab, you know, as quickly as you can harm with these guns.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that is the only solution, but I do believe it's one of them.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
Prayers up. It's just so sad, and we'll see what the fuck happens. We got elections coming up, y'all. But you got something here. Go ahead, Shani.
Also, prayers up. This is very strange. An awful experience. In Ohio, there was a train derailment. Is that East Palestine or East Palestine?
I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's confirmed that this is Ohio, the U.S., not Palestine.
East Palestine, Ohio. There was a train derailment, and the train had a lot of hazardous chemicals. And basically, in order to, I think, to solve it from exploding, they had to like burn it out. What ended up happening was that they had these huge fire flumes of toxic air. They had to evacuate all of the residents within the area in the middle of the night, have them leave. While this black smoke just filled the air. The evacuation order was lifted on Wednesday, but since then there have been a growing number of reports about people experiencing burning sensation, animals falling ill, and a strong odor. But the Environmental Protection Agency says that they haven't detected any levels of concern, which,
Yeah, they're telling people to go home. I saw that today.
To go home, and the water's safe.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they have chemicals that if it interacts with oxygen, I don't know all the science, it like conforms into like formaldehyde. Like it's just.
Wait, what?
Some of the chemicals in there, you know, chemicals react or are exposed to certain temperatures or oxygen or whatever, like it can morph into this whole other thing. And one of them can actually, if not formaldehyde, a similar agent as formaldehyde is what it can turn into. And this is weeks after Congress passed and President Biden signed into law the legislation that forced a labor agreement between the freight railroads and unions. And they're not making that connection. A lot of people are saying that they're not talking about this enough, and that there were also a number of other train derailments in Texas and North Carolina, if I'm right, that haven't been getting the attention that they deserve. And they're not saying that it's because of burnout or a lack of staffing, but obviously there was some type of systemic issue, that there was some type of neglect that this could have happened. I feel like any kind of travel, planes require diligent upkeep and management. The fact that it just went unnoticed.
Oh, well, the infrastructure in this country hasn't gone unnoticed. I mean, that's why these infrastructure bills that are being passed by Biden are so huge. Well, because our railroads, our bridges, the shit's all falling apart.
But to force, I don't know that the train folks got the deal that they wanted. It was kind of like they didn't actually.
You're talking about the union?
The unions, yeah,
okay.
of the labor force of the trains that drive it, that manage the railroads, that do everything. They're like burnt out. We talked about it before, and understaffed, and have really, really strict rules if they call off, or, you know, really kind of like unreasonable asks of them in terms of their time and their capacity. And I don't think that was solved. I think it was just kind of like, all right, you can get everything but what you asked for. So I don't know. That's really scary. Like, what do? You buy a house, you're still making payments on your house. Your water's fucking contaminated. Your air's contaminated. Like, how do you let your kids outside? That just feels devastating and really, really scary and so out of your control. So prayers for those folks as well. And hopefully what they're saying is true, is that it's not any levels of concern, quote unquote, even though there's plume of hazardous chemicals.
I don't think it's,
like the amount of, the fact that kind of chemical spill or exposure can last for years, hundreds of years, if it like gets in your soil, if it gets into your water, sounds very scary. But
in other news, and I'll go quickly with this, the U.S. is shooting down a bunch of unknown objects.
Girl, and a military plane just fell randomly on a highway.
I did not see that.
Yes.
Where did you see that? Pull that up. In the meantime, in between time, the U.S. shot down 4 different objects. And just to give some backstory, things to look at. The reason why this is really concerning, I know that a lot of folks are like, oh, okay, they shooting it down, we good. But this is really dangerous based off of like whenever you have your own Air Force and military flying over your land and shooting at shit that they don't know what it is. Yeah. A couple things. Because we don't know what it is, we don't know what it could potentially release into the atmosphere. We don't know, like we're not even able to recover a lot of what these things are in terms of the debris from blowing it up. The first balloon that they blew up, they recovered parts of that because that was over water. But these other things, like one thing deflated, the other thing just kind of broke into a bunch of pieces. So it was evident that it wasn't made of the same materials as the other objects. And this is over North America as a whole, because another one was over Canada. But something to consider is that I know people are like, oh, well, we spy on other countries and they spy on us. The U.S. definitely spies on other countries. A lot of it, though, is via satellite. And so a lot of it's like up in space. And then we have these blimps that fly very close to countries that we are spying on, but we don't enter their actual airspace. And that's kind of the way we get around it. But this could potentially escalate with China. Like if China wanted to escalate this, because usually in spy shit, whatever you do to one country, they do it back to you.
You talking about spy shit.
I'm serious. Whatever you do to one country, they do back to you. I've been like listening to this. I've been so into all of this lately. And so if they wanted to escalate, that would look like shooting down a satellite or shooting down one of our blimps that's not in their airspace, and then that turns into how do we respond to that? So I think that President Biden received, and the entire White House received, a lot of backlash based off of how they approached the first balloon. They allowed it to, enter into our airspace, try to see where it was going. And then when they finally did shoot it down, they wanted to shoot it down over water so that they could recover it, so that there was no potential damage to, or, danger to civilians and civilian life. So it's very interesting to see how aggressive the White House has been with these other objects. They're saying like, oh, these aren't UFOs, but y'all just remember during COVID.
Yeah, that's where my conspiracy theories come in. I don't believe anything.
No, during COVID, they already said that there were UFOs.
Yeah, but I don't believe this. We don't know. These are unknown. We don't know what's going on. I don't know how much I believe it's China. Now it's China, naming China as this.
Oh, it's very convenient. Yeah, China and Russia.
I don't believe any of this.
China and Russia always. China and Russia.
I don't believe any of what you just said. Is just like, I don't trust that at all.
Oh, I think that even when they say like, oh, we only spy via satellite, we spy with these blimps. Yeah, I'm sure that there are so many other ways that we're spying on.
We have no idea.
It's not even funny. So this is something to watch though, because I remember thinking like, if you blow this out of, what if it's a bomb? What if it's you're going to blow this up and then what is this releasing into the air? Like, What if that's what they want you to do, is to blow it up? It's just so...
What if it's not China? What if it's completely not
if it's
any of the
somebody in
things
Florida
that we said?
just trying to encourage a war? Well, the fact that I named Florida, I be hating on Florida.
Not the Florida.
Floridians are
war.
In other news, because I want to get to pop culture, Nikki Haley, former South Carolina governor and Trump's former ambassador to the United Nations. I said this, I think, 2 podcasts ago. She's officially thrown her hat into the presidential race. Nikki Haley, while white presenting, is the daughter of 2 Indian immigrants. She does not feel that America is racist. She is against the woke left, and she says that they are wrong for even implying that America is racist. She touts the fact that she got rid of Confederate flags in her state, but really she did that because of the horrible mass shooting where the man had the Confederate flag. And she said, oh, they kind of co-opted not the American flag, excuse me, Confederate flag. They co-opted the Confederate flag and what it stands for. And it's like, bitch, the Confederate flag does not stand for anything else but violence and racism against Black and brown folks. But okay. And she says, even on our worst day, we believe we are blessed to live in America. She's one of those. Her campaign so far, to me, feels very ageist. She wants term limits for Congress, which, okay, that's not a terrible idea. But she also keeps touting this, like, we need to throw out the old, tired political establishment. And she also has mentioned that she wants anyone over the age of 75 to undergo a mandatory mental competency test, which obviously she's talking about Trump and Joseph Robinette Biden, which to me, I'm like, okay.
Who wants to be a president?
Anybody running for office, okay, not just presidential. She's tiptoeing around the Donald Trump affiliation. She was very much cozied up next to him. She was complicit in the election denying. And she also said she would never run against Donald Trump, which makes me believe that this entire run, her getting in the race early, really right now, the only 2 people in the race on the Republican Party, not really, but truthfully, are Donald Trump and this chick, Nikki Haley. And I don't like her. She's very wishy-washy. She goes back. She's just like most politicians. She says one thing and then is doing a completely 180 the next time you talk to her. She's very tricky, very tricky. But yeah, somebody to watch out for. I personally think she's running for VP. I don't think she's running to be anybody's president. But I hope we're not giving our our dollars to her, our American dollars to her campaign. But I'm sure I think she's going to appeal to a lot of the women Republicans. But it's going to be interesting to see her navigate that Donald Trump affiliation. But honestly, people haven't called her out on that as much so far. I think because anybody that runs against Donald Trump, that's going to be a talking point. They were all cozied up with them. Yeah. So it's like, you can come for her on that, but everybody's complicit in that on the Republican Party side, except for Liz Cheney, who I ain't no Liz Cheney fan either. Tricky. Anyway, that's all for pop culture. We're an hour in, so
politics.
Let's move. Politics. Thank you. Let's move on over to pop culture, where, of course, we have to talk about the Super Bowl. Let's first start with Sheryl Lee Ralph. You was cackling over there when she was singing. May I know why? You was hating on Miss Ralph now?
I wasn't hating.
Our dream girl?
I just, I like the white guy playing the guitar better than her performance.
Oh, what's his name? Why the white guy?
Because he was a white guy.
What's his name?
I still don't know his name, but I'm a big fan of his, and he had the best performance, I think.
Oh.
I'm not the whole
Chris
thing,
Stapleton.
but I fucked with him. Like, he fucked it up.
Chris Stapleton is soulful as fuck.
I preferred his performance over Sheryl. No disrespect, but just like you
just hate musical theater people. You hate them.
No, I like it, but the drama wasn't giving like the vocals behind it for the drama. You know
Can
what
I
I
say
mean?
something? Can I say something? Oh, this is
What?
gonna be a hot take. That song don't slap like that.
What?
I love Lift Every Voice and Sing. I do. But
I forgot she sung Lift Every Voice.
that, first of all, what was funny was that Fox News or somebody on Fox News called it.
The
It
Black
wasn't Lift
National
Every
Anthem.
No, they were like the quote unquote Black National Anthem, but they called it. They misquoted it, or they didn't call it Lift Every Voice and Sing. There was a different word for lift, but means lift. And everybody was like, that's not even what
Carry
the song
every
is
voice
called.
and sing.
It was something dumb, but it was
Use
fucking
every
funny.
voice and sing.
It's like, oh man.
It was okay. It was okay. Like I said,
I like what she tried to do with it.
And you couldn't tell her she wasn't killing it. No.
First, she looked beautiful. She looked beautiful. I thought she sounded great. I thought she sold it as much as you can sell that. It's hard to be sing a song.
Oh no! Tell Jasmine to sing it, then I'll be a.
But Jasmine would have changed the arrangement. She would have did a little something else to it. Put a little stank on it.
I want Jasmine to do a song with him.
Yeah, he could sing.
That would
apparently a little birdie said that he and Mary J. Blige were actually supposed to do the national anthem the year that Jasmine did it with the other guy, and Jasmine and the other guy were the replacements.
Well, I don't like Mary with him either. That wouldn't have been good. It should have been Jasmine with Staples.
Same, I agree. But shout out to Cheryl Lee Ralph. Shout out to
she's having a moment. Okay,
it's her time. It is her time.
A moment. And I'm here for it.
She did what needed to be done with that song. That's hard to make very interesting. Sorry, I love it.
Listen, you sing that with a bunch of 11-year-olds in the morning. That shit slaps. We would get it in. Oh, and it's this part. Son, we were fucking up, not knowing none of the words.
Still don't. You still don't, apparently. I wish y'all could see her. She's the most snotty-nosed looking little kid right now, too, with her tissues. All right, let's get to it. Rihanna.
Everybody's starting to say her name correctly.
I love it. I love that people are finally saying Rihanna. I don't want to talk. I want to know what you think. Well, first, I'm so sorry. I want to say that there was some symbolism. I just want to lay it out there. There was a salute in honor of Andre Leon Talley. And then some people felt that the dancers were symbolic of sperm. And that the red that she wore was also symbolic of blood and motherhood.
What are they? What are they supposed to be? What is this?
My mom was not into it. Adrienne Marie Brown wrote, flying, prolific, pregnant businesswoman who makes extremely hard work look effortless. I love that lady. Some criticism. She received some criticism. Donald Dickhead Trump.
I didn't even mention this.
He has
no qualification.
He has beef with Rihanna. His beef with Rihanna is because she told him to stop playing Please Don't Stop. Bless you. Told him to stop playing Please Don't Stop the Music at his campaign rallies when he was running. She was like, don't play my music. And so he's hated her ever since. And he said, Rihanna gave without question the single worst halftime show in Super Bowl history. This after insulting far more than half of our nation, which is already in serious decline in capital letters. With her foul and insulting language. Also, so much for her stylist. Now, this is before he did the stylist dig, because right before the Super Bowl, he went on to criticize her and say, without her stylist, she would be nothing, bad everything, and no talent. Ciao. Bethany Franklin's ass actually hopped on IG too to start talking her shit. Exactly. Some white lady from one of them housewives shows. Apparently she's a very popular one. She got like some kind of skinny girl wine.
Yeah, I know who that is.
And then the other criticism is that, Rihanna is a staunch supporter of Colin Kaepernick. and
Oh
has said
God,
that she
I
would
don't
not
care
perform
for
at the
any
Super
of that
Bowl.
criticism. It's not worth.
And now she's performing at the Super Bowl. So, with all that said, what were your thoughts?
I was confused when she came out. We were sitting there like, wow, this is powerful. She got her baby pooch. And I was like, why she still got that baby pooch?
Oh, you mean like her baby weight?
Pregnant. Yeah, I thought it was still baby weight. But it looked firm, and I was, but also the math was. I was like, I know she not have. She could be. Is she pregnant? Because it's just so that baby she just had the baby. So you and I were just kind of like, wow, she's so brave. This is amazing. This is powerful. And then we were like, wait a minute, is she pregnant? Because when she started,
but nobody wanted to say it either. We were
when she started rubbing her belly, I was like, oh no, she has to be pregnant. She got a little baby. She got a baby in here. When I saw the performance pulled back, I saw and sped up, and it showed the flow of the what would you call those?
Those flying
the height stands. It was amazing. It looked so good. I don't know, because of all of the different levels and the amount of cameras you would have to do, it didn't feel like a through line that you could capture what was really going on. And she wasn't, she wasn't dancing a lot.
She was dancing.
She was doing her thing, but it wasn't like you couldn't really get what was going on, because now that I saw that panned out vision of like, oh shit, a lot was going on. If you were in the fields, that must have been an amazing performance, because you're like, it's a show for you versus when there's just little small people dancing in the center and you're just looking down. Like, this was giving something. But yeah, she was pregnant. What did we expect her to do? Rihanna for me never was somebody that, she's a good performer, but she's always cool as a cucumber. Mm-hmm. She always just to me, she performed like how she normally performs. And knowing that symbolism, I think that's really cute. I didn't quite understand it. Yeah, I think so. It makes perfect sense. I think like New York Times says some bullshit like that didn't make any sense, but then TikTok, shout out to Black people on TikTok, was like, actually, that represented the womb, and those were the sperm. And I was like, okay.
Even if it wasn't that, that's what I'm going with.
She got jams though. Like, the girl has hits as well, and I was like, hype.
She didn't even play half of them.
Yeah, and she executed. She didn't look nervous. She looked confident. She looked happy. She looked, they put a lot of thought into it, actually, again, with those fucking, have you seen that clip where it shows what they were doing? Yeah. That's a lot of intention, and I enjoyed it. I was excited to see it, and I was happy when it ended.
The other thing, too, is that those flying platforms, they came to be because they were originally supposed to be on the ground. But because that field had such a bad turf, they were worried about having all of those platforms moving on the ground in such a way so that it graduated to them being in the air. So it's so interesting, like the people that put the show together, just how things blossom, with restriction, something else is born. But I've never heard her sound better. That was my thing. I said, that baby in there is giving her pipes, because she is, to me, not always the best live singer. And I thought that she sounded strong vocally.
Yeah, she sounded good.
I really did.
Yeah. She's pregnant, y'all. She was up there pregnant.
She was up there pregnant, harnessed in.
She got to be about 4 or 5 months pregnant with that belly.
The other thing is 7 years going by without performing. She has not performed in 7 years. And her first performance back is one of the biggest stages in the world. It's amazing. And yeah, what a dope, epic way to announce to the world that you are pregnant again. Shout out to ASAP. He said, how many billions? Got you.
ASAP. I'm gonna get on that ASAP. Also, everyone's saying we don't know if there's another album coming out. I don't know if that's true. We don't know what she's been doing quietly. We have no idea what she's been working on. I don't know if that's true. I don't think that that's true.
That's sweet. I think that we'll get another album, but it ain't going to be no time soon. I think she's been sitting on R9. It's been done. She was listening to tracks off of it years ago, right when Fenty first started going crazy. And where is it? Just give it to us, child. I don't know if she still feels inspired by it. I don't know if she still likes the album. She said that she wants to do music and that she wants to be really experimental with the next thing she does. So maybe she's putting the R9 on the shelf and going to do something completely different. All I know is when and if she puts something out, I'm going to run to it now. And most likely like it just because of hive mentality. But I was really proud of her. I love the symbolism. And I think she should be really proud of herself. I think it's really unfair for people to compare her to Beyonce. When Beyonce
Girl,
was
you were
pregnant
the one that did.
No, I wasn't. I was showing you tweets.
Watching that performance, said, I ain't gonna say what you said, but you definitely mentioned Beyonce. You said, "Well, not everybody can be Beyonce."
Is that what I said?
Yes.
That was because I was around my mom and I was under the influence of negative.
I'm gonna say everybody's compared to Beyonce. How dare they?
Really?
Yes.
Well, you can't do that shit out loud. I said that in private with you. Monty, take that out.
No.
I'm playing. No, I really don't think I would never say that publicly. So thanks a lot. I might have thought that, but then I think
What's wrong with saying that publicly? Beyonce is the greatest performer of our generation.
No.
Ain't nobody like her.
Because I think it's that's the exact point. I think it's an unnecessary comparison. Even when she was, you're laughing, but I'm dead serious. I think even when she wasn't pregnant, she wasn't Beyonce performing.
Nobody is.
We just put listen.
Beyonce, it's like Michael Jackson.
I can't even sing on IG without wanting to throw up.
It's not
that girl is at the Super
Rihanna
Bowl
down.
moment.
I don't think it's it's a pushing down of her.
I do.
I think it's a taking away from her moment by mentioning Beyonce in that. But let that week pass. Let the week pass. Well,
that's fucked up. I own it.
You should apologize and say sorry to Rihanna. But I think Beyonce. I don't think nothing's wrong with it. I don't think nothing's wrong with it. I think it's the truth. Whether you say it in that moment, you wait 2 weeks, or you wait another week. It was a great performance. Nobody.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think that Beyonce could perform Rihanna's music with. No, I'm serious, and I don't want the hive to get mad at me either. I don't think that Beyonce could perform Rihanna's music with the same amount of swag and just innate cool that Rihanna has.
Not. Beyonce is not as cool as
she
Rihanna.
couldn't.
She
so
could never.
That's something to think about, y'all, because I can't see Beyonce singing "Bitch Better Have My Money."
Does not have the swagger. I would love to see it.
I would love to see. Like Beyonce's "Bitch Better Have My Money" is like the one from Lemonade where she's yelling, and I love it. It's probably my favorite thing.
It's phenomenal. It's one of my favorites.
What is it called, child?
Something about God.
Something about God. When she's saying when you hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's her "Bitch Better Have My Money" kind of vibe. But it's still very produced. It's still very like performed Beyonce. Whereas Rihanna, do you remember the first time Rihanna performed that and she was dressed up like Lil' Kim and she got out that helicopter? And she was just sweat. Oh my God, I need to send that to you. Everybody Google "Bitch Better Have My Money."
No,
live.
Listen, Rihanna,
that was
lots of people are pro Rihanna. Anyway, we're not doing this with these two icons. We're not doing it. It ain't happening. They're different. We exalt them both. It's Black History Month. Mother's Day is coming. Shout out to them both.
Mother's Day is nowhere near. Anyway, Usher. They brought up Usher. They brought up Usher, child. They said, who do you want to see do a Super Bowl halftime performance? And the people said Usher. And then other people were like, Usher does not have hits enough to do a Super Bowl performance.
I don't know.
And do you know how many people tagged me in that because of my hot take on Usher with Justin Timberlake? And when I said I don't know if I want to repeat this.
He doesn't have the pop hits the way that the white people, white people came on at a certain time when he started doing the Neptunes and shit. Then they copped on, but white people weren't fucking with early 7 o'clock on the dot. I don't think it wouldn't. They just weren't. They don't fuck with them. If I say that to my sister, she won't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna text her that.
Text her that right now, because I know that a lot of people probably expect me to have a hot take here and say, no, Usher couldn't do the Super Bowl performance. But I disagree. He absolutely can, I think. I think he has Usher with some friends.
But I don't know if he would get the job.
Did it. If Bruno Mars did it, Usher can do it.
But now, Bruno has the global fandom.
Usher doesn't have that?
I don't think of the white people the way that the whites are. And you know how Lizzo, like, that's, you have to have like that Lizzo kind of fandom. That kind of like pop culture.
You kidding me?
Credibility.
Usher has, oh my God.
Hits. No, listen, he has a hit. I just don't know if he has, if the white people are going to be feeling it.
Wow. That's crazy town. Listen, I still stand by my Usher and Justin Timberlake take. The Justin Timberlake in a catalog battle, he got Usher cooked a little bit there. If you come at it from a pop culture standpoint, if you're coming at it from a pop culture standpoint, Justin is a problem, especially with his pen. But Usher, I think Usher could do the halftime, and I think he would be smart enough to bring out guests. I think he would be smart enough to do covers too.
Covers?
He could sing live. He could dance. Yeah.
What artist comes out and does a cover? What cover is he gonna do?
Not a cover. I mean, like if you bring out a guest, like Bruno Mars hopped on some shit that like Beyonce did too, and they were like walking down together, and then Coldplay was on it.
I don't know if he has the white credibility to be competing that Justin Timberlake.
What does Usher have to do to get the white credibility? I don't even want him to do it. Fuck y'all if y'all don't know the genius of Usher. I'm shocked by that.
Cancel the NFL Super Bowl.
They don't pay them anyway to perform. We're not even supposed to be watching it. We're supposed to be boycotting it.
White.
Shut
white.
Up. Not NFL so white, and it was fucking Dr. Dre and them last year. Now Rihanna, we still mad. NFL is so white, hate them, and well, they are when it comes to their black coaches as well. Speaking of white, Idris Elba no longer wants to identify himself as a black actor. Quote, I stopped describing myself as a black actor when I realized it put me in a box. End quote. The 50-year-old entertainer told Esquire. Quote, if we spent half the time not talking about the differences, but the similarities between us, the entire planet would shift in the way that we deal with each other. End quote. He then described how such labels can cripple one's ambitions. Quote, as humans, we are obsessed with race, and that obsession can really hinder people's aspirations, hinder people's growth, unquote. Then, the very next day, he clarified because he caught hell, and he said, there isn't a soul on earth that can question whether I consider myself a black man or not. He began the tweet, adding, being an actor is a profession, like being an architect. They are not defined by race. However, if you define your work by race, that's your prerogative. Eli? End quote. Thoughts?
I don't think he's wrong, but
me neither. Sorry.
But in the world of acting, again, your skills will put you at a different level and you won't get those same kind of boxed roles. For instance, I think Viola Davis is now respected as an actor in a way that she's cast and the roles that she gets, although of course they're black characters, I wouldn't say that I don't think she would have feel the same restrictions that he feels. I don't think he's an incredible actor, and I think that he is often, he feels that restraint or feels like he's put in that box because, oh, they just want a black guy for these roles, da da da. I just don't think he has the chops to get more complicated roles. I don't know if he's reached, and I think that's fucked up, of course, but yeah.
I think a couple things. So when I read this, I thought, you know what? I get what he's saying, and I also understand the backlash that people immediately are like, why are you not associating yourself as like with black? And I don't think that that's a fair critique. I think what he's saying is when you step into a room as an actor and you are black, there are certain roles that you're automatically no longer considered for, because there's a thing called typecasting.
Uh-huh.
And so when you're typecast and you're kept in this box as an actor, the way that the acting world works is that, and I've experienced it on the most micro of scales. Like, I would walk into a room and you could dress me up in a fucking wig and I can read white from the stage, right? But because of my stature, because of the way I sing, the way that I speak, I would get these roles of like these older women, these older black women, or these sassy black women, or that kind of thing. And so it would be frustrating at times because I'm like, well, my range is far more than that. But based off of how I look, this is the box that I'm in. So I think what he's saying is, don't fucking box me. I can do any role. I also think that some of the frustration is probably around a lot of the roles that are offered to black actors and a lot of the stories being told by the black actors are telling. They are not always.
He was just in a movie being a genie, in love with a white lady for 1,000 years. It was not about blackness at all. And he did a good job.
You're saying what I'm saying is that he's now experiencing that when he's walking into spaces, he's getting roles that aren't necessarily the wire or the black friend or the this, the that, the sidekick kind of roles. He's getting these roles where he's able to stretch out a little more. And oftentimes you're not able to do that in black skin. And oftentimes, you go straight to Tyler Perry, or you go to the OWN network, or you go to it's a black role is like, that's why Insecure was refreshing, or Love Jones, or these kinds of things where it's just black people existing. Uh-huh. It's tricky. We're still navigating, authenticity of black characters, right? Versus stereotypical kind of black characters. Because some people will say, oh, well, a black person would never show up like that in a movie. But also that's our own stereotypes on what a black experience is. It's all much more nuanced and tricky than that. I think some people also felt like this is him kind of hoping that he gets that James Bond role. Oh. And yeah, a lot of people are like, well, we know that he wants to play James Bond. We all want him to play James Bond. We think that he's perfect for the role. But for whatever reason, he still hasn't been cast. He's still not being looked at seriously. And it's frustrating. I don't think that Idris Elba in any way doesn't identify with being black. He's also not a black American. So that's a whole other experience. He's also deeply connected to the continent. He's opening up film studios in Ghana. In Ghana, and I believe trying to do it in I can't hear you.
I said he doesn't want to be restricted or defined by.
Right. He's just like, I am a human. I am an actor.
I feel the same way just about black business. Just be a great business. Be a wonderful business. Mm-hmm. Make your offerings accessible for everyone if you want to. But
your business very much is still exalting of black culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. He's black. You can look at him. It doesn't have to be stated, or it doesn't have to be a box. I'm saying identity, but that's not the right word.
Yeah,
because he's a black man, but
it doesn't have to be the only thing that defines him.
Especially in your profession, in your profession. But
I don't think that there's anything wrong with being like the first black this, the first that. I think there's great pride in that, especially based off of history. Or if you define
yourself as a dope black actor, sure.
Right.
As some people do, and they're very proud of it. Great.
Right, because I think that asterisk caveats how much more work you had to do to get where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So have some grace for Idris.
You said it well. It's their prerogative, isn't it? It's my prerogative, isn't it?
He didn't say that. He said Eli.
Well, she said, isn't it?
You have something on here, Sheila.
Oh my goodness. I heard about a nightclub. It's in Ireland and London. It's called Before Midnight. Now, it's for the folks that were the original clubbers and enjoyed club life and now feel like they've aged out and they can't fit in with the young kids anymore. And so it's catered to this demographic. It starts at 7 p.m. and it ends at 12. And apparently women and moms show up to this joint, but a whole bunch of women get their life. It ends at 12. Great music. And then they go home.
I love this.
Who wants to be out 2 p.m. drunk, trying to eat chicken wings, trying to eat after
2 p.m. 2 a.m.?
2 a.m. No. Start early. Go to bed. Girl, that 10 o'clock, going out at 10 o'clock, I'm like, this is insanity. Remember getting dressed at 10 p.m.? Like you getting dressed before you go out.
No.
Like that. I feel like you do that a little bit more often than I do.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, you go out later.
You were the last person that had me out that late. And that was to go to that Beyonce party in Philly. And you were like, we'll get there at like 12. It's like, excuse me?
Weren't you out late with your folks? I guess a club. Okay, we're talking about a club.
A club, child.
Yeah.
I think this is a great idea.
Let's make it for black people and bring it to the U.S.
Oh, is it not for black people?
No.
What is a black club? See? Tricky.
I don't want to hear.
What is the box? Are you saying that black people don't listen to that?
I fucking love that song, but I can't.
I hate that song. I only like the acoustic version. Have you ever heard the acoustic version?
No, please send it to me.
Oh my, everybody, please Google the Cher Kennedy Honors.
She sang it at the Kennedy Honors?
No, she was honored at the Kennedy Honors. And Adam Lambert sang it. And me and Amanda watch this sometimes and just fight back tears. Because I'm serious.
Send this to me. I love that song.
I'm going to send it to you right now. Matter of fact, I wish we still had music at the end of these damn episodes. But Spotify got us.
She killed them.
Like have you heard the lyrics to this?
I feel something inside me say, I really don't think it's strong enough. No,
for real. Me. Take a moment. Cher was Worcestershire in this. Ready? She said, no matter how hard I try, you keep pushing me aside and I can't break through. There's no talking to you. It's so sad that you're leaving. It takes time to believe it. But after all is said and done, you're going to be the lonely one. And then they're saying to themselves, do you believe in life after love?
Oh.
I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough.
Yes, you are.
Do you believe in life after love? I can feel repeat, sorry. Then what am I supposed to do? Sit around and wait for you? Well, I can't do that. There's no turning back.
Nope.
I need time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
I need a love to feel strong.
Yes.
Because I've had time to think it through. And maybe I'm too good for you.
Oh!
Do you believe in life after love? Worcestershire, who? Rupi Kaur, who? Cher, my guy. Actually, Cher didn't write that. Brian Higgins did. Shout out to you, Brian.
What up, Brian? Sorry
Listen.
You had to deal with that trauma. I hope you're okay on the other side, and life is good for you after love.
Listen, it is a hopeful tune, and I highly recommend you watch Adam Lambert sing it because he sings it beautifully. He sings it to Cher. If he's singing
like that, Staples, I'm down. I'm about to find Staples on Spotify. Fuck it up.
Baby girl, Chris Staples is the shit. So soulful self.
Adam
Anyway,
Sandler.
what's the through line of this episode? We're old, and old people should not be made to
Defined by their blackness.
Wait, what? That wasn't where I was going. What? We're old.
They should be able to exist and expand.
They should be able to exist and
Unencumbered.
expand and not have to take any kind of test to prove that they're not old and
Nor
weird.
should they believe the government because
Nor
shit is
should-
bananas.
There you
It don't
go.
make sense. It ain't adding up and making sense like the symbolism of Rihanna's performance, where it was tied together in a perfect illustration of the beauty of reproduction and femininity and motherhood.
Who
Which
refuses
also brings us back to making sure you're married before you have a baby and
That
check
was
out
not-
Kinfolk Bride in Philadelphia.
That was not where I was.
Don't be, unless you polyamorous, then you gotta fuck it up and do whatever you want to do. Have those out of wedlock babies.
Monty, please take all of me trying to talk in there out because Shanti just fucked that up in a way that I could never. So just take me out, try to fit my little 2 cents in. It was going to derail where she was going. So in summary,
And don't do drugs because Antoinette.
don't
That's
do
not high.
drugs because I'm
Doing a
seriously
wonderful
might could still be high. What's the name of this episode?
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, really? That's not a good.
Antoinette never saw the Matrix.
No, first of all right. Well, I don't have a
We'll
thing.
get to it. You want to press stop?
Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Goodbye. What's the name of this episode? For real, you want to see Adam Lambert? Ow! Did you hear that?
What was that?
My fucking foot, yo, hitting a chair. Strong enough, no. Do you believe in life after love? Can you see my screen?